Anthony Elanga at Manchester United.
Yeah, this is a lovely story, actually. This is very nice. Cristiano, Gary Carter in the Sun, and it's obviously the player that everyone's talking about at the moment. And, for fans of United and just football in general, it's just lovely to hear, him coming over from Sweden, age 11, barely speaking any English. And they've interviewed the PE teacher at his high school, the Hyde High School, Mr. Ledbetter, who's going to be loving today, I reckon, his name all over the papers. But he was talking about when he arrived, and I think it was the day he arrived, they had a football game, and he had heard that, this young guy from Sweden who's just arrived is supposed to be, half decent at football. So he's like, I'll give him a little run out. Maybe I'll give him 10 minutes on the pitch. So much so he didn't even have a kit, didn't have boots. He was wearing boots that were 2 sizes too big. And they, we bring back memories here of PE lessons where you forget your PE kit, but had to go through lost property and found these shorts that were, like trousers on him, and so he was, looking quite the state. And when he asked him, what position do you want to play on? His English wasn't so good at the time. So all he could answer was right. He kept saying right. So they stuck him on the right wing. And he said he scored one of the most incredible goals he's ever seen, like instantly around 5 players, did one of those cocky moments, around the keeper, stops it on the line, and then taps it in, which is, isn't it? It just, he's certainly let himself, be known on his first day at school. But after that, it talks about the fact, within 3 months, his English was brilliant. He'd really sort of pushed himself. He was like that in every subject at school, and really sort of, just a fantastic student all round. And he's been back recently to Hyde High School, beautifully, like just to pick up his sister, which was lovely. And Mr. Ledbetter, the PE teacher, was able to go and chat to him, for the first time since he left the school, and say how's things, and asked him what his key memories from his time at the school were. And it was that first game, but it wasn't that goal. He scored another goal in that game that was identical to the free kick that Ronaldo had scored against Portsmouth in 2008. And he had actually said, before he took the free kick, he said, I'm going to do a Ronaldo. And he did it. And he said it was absolutely incredible. And so you got this lovely, coming sort of full circle, really just feel good story in the Sun, talking about emulating Ronaldo, was it 8 or 9 years ago, and now just playing with him. And, it's just what, I mean, as a football fan, you just love to see players like him come through. And it's, what do you make
of Anthony Elanga then?
We just described it there. He's a flair player. He's a guy that can make a difference, and he's got a great turn of foot that he can get beyond people, and you never know which way he's going to go. It's exciting. United have had in their history many types of young players that have come through, and from Ryan Giggs and many of them that have been a big part of their history. And look, it's a long way to go, but he does look like he's going to be a real talent. And United need this because their youth system's been so successful.
But it's not like they've not been there before with players sort of emerging, and you feel as though they're going to go on and do something. And not to discredit him in any way, but perhaps someone like a Marcus Rashford not quite living up to expectations right now. I know obviously he had his injury, shoulder injuries kept him out at the start of the season, but
there's more natural, without being disrespectful to Rashford, but he's more technically gifted, right. and I think there is a little bit more magic in his game. Rashford's probably his biggest fault was always being not as clinical as he needs to be leading the line at Man United. But I think Elanga is certainly one you'd think. And look, everything's in place now at football clubs for you to be successful. You can be guided and not go off the rails. So I'm sure the lad's really grounded.
Game Day Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Saturday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.